and want to just thank God, and I believe that you and I will take that home for ourselves. One of our objectives, if you look at it, the objective number one is to provide members resources and related information that are invaluable for aging graduates. Then number two says, teach how to avoid untimely death through behavioral change. That is one of our second missions, call it objective, to teach how to avoid untimely death through behavioral change. I'm sure that what the pastor has said this morning will make a lot of meaning to you. He's built the foundation for the doctor to talk. Praise the Lord. To fulfill all righteousness by trying to exercise 3 times a week. Monday evening 6 to 7, Thursday evening 6 to 7, Saturday morning 7 to 7:30 to 9. Thursday 1 hour, Monday is 1 hour, and it's a back to 1 hour. Notice that many of us don't come. Some of you can come, those who like to play table tennis. They can just come and play table tennis for 1 hour. My brother over there likes to beat me in table tennis. So, those of you, come, let's shake body, let's exercise.
I apologize for doing that. We just had a new God baby. So I tend to help my wife. So, whenever the baby wakes up in the morning, it's 2 a.m. I also have to wake up and say, I'll do certain things. Hallelujah. I want to thank my father for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I don't really get to have this opportunity. And I always wanted to have this kind of opportunity to talk to people. Because whenever people come to the hospital, we don't tend to do a lot of sensitization. We just talk as medical doctors and leave because there are other patients waiting. This morning, we want to discuss the necessity of medical health checks. I want to start by saying I have never, in my few years of practice, seen anybody who has come to the hospital healthy just to have medical checks. Even HIV, except in cases where they've been asked to do so, maybe medical fitness, maybe for all these corporate bodies. That is only when people come to the hospital to do medical checkups.
I do doctor.
That is very good. That is very good then. Next slide, please. This is the outline we'll be working with. I will introduce the topic. We will define what medical check is, the purpose, the benefits, and I will do why, what, and where, and we will conclude. Globally, and I mean globally, this is not just a problem in Africa. Globally, non-communicable diseases that we describe as silent killers, are the leading cause of death globally. They cause 70% of deaths worldwide. Globally, and I mean globally, in the developed world, in the developing world, and in the underdeveloped world. And I start by saying there's an upsurge in non-communicable silent killer diseases among the human population. And this is mostly due to what? Lifestyle. This alarming increase calls for what? Preventive measures to seek out and what proper solutions early. Hence the need for what? Routine medical checks. Next slide, please. What is medical check? I like to call it general medical examination. I say it's a what? It's a preventive healthcare measure which involves periodic visits to a healthcare facility by healthy or well what? You can see I italize that point. Healthcare facility by healthy or well-feeling individuals, usually yearly or less frequently. And this will vary with your age, gender, and family history. We usually tell people that if you come to the hospital early and we detect some of these diseases, it is easier. Doctors are not magicians. We cannot give what we don't have. Yes, we have studied the body. Yes, a lot of things have been done over the years. But there is still so much we don't know about the body. So it is better you come early for us to detect these things and then proffer solutions early. Next slide, please. What are the purposes, what are the benefits of medical health checks? The first point there is what? Reduce your risk of getting sick. Detect what I was just saying earlier. Detect potentially life-threatening health conditions or diseases early. And then whenever I see people in the hospital and say, madam, your BP is high. God forbid, it's not my portion. No, we are not saying it's your portion. Hypertension is nobody's portion. But it is necessary for us to do these medical checks, for you to understand that, see, if we detect these things early and we start treating some of these things, it will help you on the long run. Another one is increased chances of treatment and cure, what I just said. If you come to the hospital, for example, I had one case. The woman came to the hospital. She said, doctor, help me. I am hypertensive. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? He said, please do something for me. I said, okay. I gave her money to buy drugs. The next time she came, her BP had gone up. Why? She did not buy the drugs. Instead, she used it to feed her children. So there are factors that impede some of this treatment that we try to institute. Another point here was limit risk of complications by closely monitoring existing conditions. That's why for people who are hypertensive, diabetic, we expect you to come to the hospital so we can see these things and co-manage them with you. And then the next point there is increase lifespan and improve health. Another point is reduce healthcare costs over time by avoiding expensive medical services. Most times people come to the hospital, doctor, I'm not feeling good. I have typhoid. And I look at them, I'm like, you have typhoid. You just come to the hospital and you have typhoid. No, you tell us your symptoms. You tell us what you think is wrong with you. We will not tell you that, you have to do so and so tests. But these days, people just come, I think I have typhoid. I think I have malaria. And I'm like, no, calm down. And the truth is, I really need to say this, the truth is, typhoid is a very deadly disease. If you have typhoid, I don't even think you will be able to walk to the hospital to tell the doctor that you have typhoid. It's a very, very deadly disease. And then most of us do this wider test. Wider test, I need to say this, is not a very sensitive test. I'll come back to this. I just want to digress a little bit and explain this point. Wider test is not a very sensitive test. And you have to do it serially for some time duration for us to really detect that you have typhoid. The gold standard for detecting typhoid is bone marrow aspiration, microscopy, and sensitivity. I don't know if you understand that. Yeah. Yes. That is the gold standard, but we don't do it routinely. What we usually do is blood culture in the first week of the disease. After the first week of the second week of the disease, we do urine analysis. After urine analysis, in the third week of the disease, we do stool culture. So, why that test does not really have a place, but doctors are even tired. You have time, you want to do why that test? No problem. We'll write this for you and you go and do. Because, there are so many patients to see. Next, please. Why Why would you come to the hospital? Why would you come and do this test? I have based this on what? Hereditary, age, sex, lifestyle, and what? Race factors. The first point there is hereditary. And when we were doing genetics in medical school, one of the things they told us was all traits. I mean, when we mean all traits, even sicknesses, all traits are what? Genetically predetermined and what? Environmentally what? Influenced. I don't know if you understand that. Most diseases, and when I mean most diseases are inherited. If your father has diabetes, if your father is hypertensive, you are most likely going to be what? Hypertensive. You're most likely going to be what? Diabetic. But it is the interaction of what your genetics and the environment that produces this illness. Your father might be diabetic. Your father might be hypertensive. But if you don't do those things that will bring out this disease, you might not become hypertensive. So it's that interaction that what brings out these diseases. So these are hereditary what? Factors. Age. As we grow older, some scientists have postulated that as we age, we lose some of our cells. Neuron, madam, I don't want to speak so many medical jargons. Neuronal cells degenerate over time. We cannot replace them. Your hair cells in your ears, you lose them with what? Age. That is why when you get older, you tend to strain to hear. In fact, this is also what related to the hereditary factors. Why? Because as immediately we are born, it's like your body is just regulated to say, you're born today, and it's already predetermined how you are going to die. Your body has already, it's like apoptosis of the cell. Your body has already said, this year you're born, the average lifestyle of a man, they say it's 70, the Bible says it's 70. I don't know. But we medical 120. We medical doctors say it's 90. A human being can live for 90 if you take care of your body properly. Sex. Certain diseases, for example, prostate gland cancer or BPH, let me not go to prostate gland cancer, occurs mostly in men. And from the age of 40 or even 45, some books will tell you 40, some books will tell you 45, there is a need for what? Regular checks. Now, there is something we don't really do in our hospitals here in Nigeria. But even when they are training us, they tell you that you should do them. It's called DRE, Digital Rectal Examination. This is something that we should always do when we're examining people. I don't know if you understand. So I don't know if you've heard about digital rectal examination. It is supposed to be routinely done. Whenever a man comes to the hospital, if you are above 45 years of age, you should come and then we check for the consistency, check for the alignment of the prostate gland. If it's enlarged, we'll now ask you to do certain tests to confirm what if the prostate is enlarged. These are ways that we get to know and we get to detect some of these diseases early, and so it does not progress to a stage where we can no longer do anything about it.
Doctor, spell out digital rectal examination so that men will know.
Oh, okay. DRA, I don't know.
As it is, what is it?
D, digital. R is a rectal, and E, examination. So we say DRE. It just involves checking the prostate through the anus. We check for the consistency, we check if it's enlarged. And if it's enlarged, we do further examination. But I will come back to that.
Doctor, some of our people may not understand what you are saying.
Okay, sir.
Okay. For example, digital rectal, the doctor will put on a condom on his hand and put his hand into your anus and check. So if no doctor has inserted his hand into your anus
if you're a man, to check, then you need to know that you need to do this
The
test.
character examination. But it's not routinely done. I don't know why we tend to like forgo it most of the time. I don't know, maybe because of maybe privacy or something. I don't know. But we don't. But whenever they are teaching us, they tell us, you have to do rectal examination. Even when, like in exam conditions, you are asked, and if you don't do it, you'll be marked wrong. Even a -10 or so, you might even be eliminated. So it should be routinely done. Lifestyle. This is very, very, very important. Over the years, due to white collar jobs, our lifestyle has become very sedentary. We no longer live like people used to live in those days. Go to the farm, walk miles to fetch water, do all that. These things were helping us. But our lifestyle these days has changed. We eat fast food. Some of us drink alcohol. Some of us smoke. Some of us use leisure drugs. So these things are some of the risk factors that are affecting us today, leading to what these communicable diseases. Race should be together with these hereditary factors. As black people, we are more prone to hypertensive and cardiovascular diseases. Another point that I should have written here is psychosomatic factors. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. Aristotle, was it Socrates or Aristotle? I think it's Socrates. Socrates said, if you marry a bad wife, you become a philosopher. I don't know if you know what I said about it. I saw that in this thing. If you marry a bad wife, you become a philosopher. So there are factors that affect you health-wise. I think Pastor touched on that. There are factors that affect you health-wise, emotional factors that you don't know. So these things are called what? Psychosomatic factors. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay. Next slide. Who do you see? Sometimes people go to the hospital and they go and see specialists straight up. It's not supposed to be that way. There is hierarchy in the medical field. The specialists are the tertiary level of healthcare. Normally, if you go to the hospital and you want to do routine medical checks, you should see your GP. That's a general practitioner. The general practitioner will be the one to look at you, get your history, your clinical history, get your hereditary history, get your family history, and this other fact, and then tell you that, madam, you have to go and see a specialist, especially if you have a history of hereditary history of, let's say, hypertension in your family. It's the doctor that will now say, oh, okay, you have so and so symptoms. Go and see so and so person. But don't go directly to the specialist. No, they won't be able to really help you because they are specialized in a particular area. What do we do whenever you come to the hospital? First, we take clinical history. We ask you about your general state of health. We ask you, how are you doing? Especially if you don't come with any complaints. If you come with any complaint, then we'll do physical examination. Check the areas where you're complaining about any illness. And then we take your family history, like I mentioned earlier. We ask you about any current drug you're using, if you've had any previous surgery, if you've done anything in the past, health-wise.
Next.
And then we do physical examination and diagnostic tests based on what you've told us earlier on. Some tests are not necessary. I will repeat it again, some tests are not necessary. If you come and then we look at you, we'll prescribe what is necessary for your own situation. Some people just come and they demand their own test, and we are left with no option but to write it. Okay, go and do ECG. Go and do wider tests like you always come for. But some of these tests are not necessary for everyone. You end up wasting money. Next. Where should we go to? Like I mentioned earlier, that tertiary healthcare, it's primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, and then tertiary level of healthcare service. You don't just have headache and then you go to national hospital. It's not done that way. First, you go to the general hospital. General hospitals will see, oh, okay, madam, this is something that we can treat at this level, and then they manage you. Or if it's something that they cannot manage, they refer you to the appropriate places.
But there's no general, there's FMCs.
Okay, no.
Federal medical centers. There's no general hospital in Abuja. The federal government, Maitama is under FCDA, Asokoro is under FCDA, Barimpa is under FCDA, okay, a lot of them, those that are under FCDA, they call them general hospital. Okay? The federal medical center used to be called staff clinic.
Yes.
All right? Now, but they moved it from a staff clinic to a general hospital level.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So it's now Federal Medical Center.
Federal Medical.
In the states, the state governments have general hospitals. But any government hospital in that state, and there's one in every state, is called Federal Medical Center. But what I don't know, and you should explain to us, whether they are not on the same level. Because I operate in all, I see the Federal Medical Center and the other ones owned by FCDA as on the same level. Even National Hospital was supposed to be a specialist place, but it's now become a general hospital. You know? National Hospital was built for women and children only in Abuja when it was built. It was just to be a special place for women and children. Alright, but it's now become, you go there for everything.
So I think maybe the special hospital will be the one at Bogolada.
Yeah, Bangladesh is special. That's the university.
Yeah, the
it's
teaching hospital.
Yeah. That's the university teaching hospital.
Go back to So I believe that, well, if we have just, or you want to do just a routine medical check, you can go to the FMC or the general hospitals. They have GPs, they have residents in FMC, and I think they have some residents over here too that will see you and take your copy. And if they can't handle your situation, or if they need to refer you, they will refer you to a tertiary medical center. Next, please. Now, I want to conclude by saying, just like the pastor said earlier, the old saying, prevention is better than cure. It is better we detect some of these things early so we can provide solutions. The importance of periodic health checks are not overemphasized. By getting the correct health services, screenings, and treatments during regular health checkups, you are taking important steps towards living a longer, healthier life. So I want to make this an interactive section, just like our father was doing. If there are any questions, please. Yes.
First, I want to make an observation before I ask my question. Not long ago, I was in the office of head of service, and my division was in charge of taking life insurance policies on civil servants. So the applications of civil servants that died in service would come to my desk. And the first thing I usually checked was medical certificate of cause of death. I discovered that not less than 75% of the applications I received for those who died in service were cardiovascular related issues. And I had to put up a memo to let head of service know that this is a serious problem. And so eventually a clinic was set up so that a gym so that people could take advantage. And then a monthly free health check was put in place. But the surprising thing is that most people are still not taking advantage of this facility. You go to the gym almost on a daily basis and it's empty, or almost empty. And on the day they are supposed to have free medical check, it's free, nobody pays. They still don't come. You see very few people who take advantage of that. And I really don't know why people, even when it's free, don't want to take that kind of advantage. But the issue of people not presenting themselves for regular medical checks, I think our level of poverty has a lot to do with that. Yes. People are mostly wondering, where will the money come from? So now, the question I want to ask has to do with the issue of heart. Not long ago, there was a cardiologist that tried to distinguish between cardiovascular issues such as when we say somebody has a heart attack or someone has a cardiac arrest, for instance. I know there's a difference, but I still haven't got it. Could you let us know? And is there anything as an observer that we can do if you are with someone and the person suddenly slumps before medical intervention arrives? Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate what you have said this morning about the need to go for medical checkup. But I think sometimes our doctors discourage us. When you go to the hospital, they will ask you, what did you come for? And when you tell them that you want to check this, you want to check that, they ask you, are you having pains there? Are you having any symptom? And when you say no, I just want to check, they say it's not necessary. So sometimes they discourage you, they tell you that it's not necessary. When you have pain, you come. When you have any symptoms, that's when you report. Because I'm saying this from experience. As I mentioned earlier, any disease that I hear about, I go to hospital and seek for the test. So I usually have these challenges from doctors. So I'm asking, is it something that, from your ethics, doctor's ethics, that you don't go for, you only treat what a person is feeling at that particular point in time? If it is so, I think it should be corrected, because I've had experience several. Thank you.
First, I will answer your question, then I'll go to Magazo. Some of us who studied outside the country, we came here and we saw a different way of doing things. First, I must apologize on behalf of my colleagues. We saw a different way of doing things. Things are not done that way outside here. You listen to the patient. Well, in fact, if you go outside the country, doctors are not supposed to see a certain number of patients in a day. Sometimes a doctor here in Nigeria can see up to 100 patients. You are not supposed to do that. At most 15 or 20, so you can really, really attend to them and know their problems. So sometimes, like I said, I still want to apologize on behalf of my colleagues. Sometimes there is pressure on us, so that you come, what is the problem? Oh, okay, what is it? They are not really listening toward you. So it's more of a structural problem, more of, a Nigerian problem, or I can say an African problem. Although in Ghana, I didn't see that. So, sorry. Chief, I want to address your problem. The one of cardiac arrest. We have MI, myocardial infarction. I don't think I mentioned it here. Why we ask people to come to the hospital to do some of these checks is that sometimes if you do your lipid profile, I don't know if you understand what I mean by lipid profile, your cholesterol level, we can be able to determine if you will have a cardiovascular event. I don't know if you're with me, sir. So, MI results from clogging, myocardial infarction, coronary heart disease. It results from clogging of your artery. I wish I had a pen so I can start teaching these things. It results from clogging of your arteries with this what we call atherosclerotic plaques. that is formed from cholesterol. A lot of these foods we eat contain this cholesterol. Another thing that can also lead to this cardiac arrest is what we call arrhythmic heart dysfunction. I don't want to go into details about these ones. So there are different causes of your heart attack. Chief among them is the one I just mentioned, the one of coronary heart disease, of your heart being blocked, of the arteries that supply your heart muscles being clogged at the rheumatic leg. But there are other causes that can lead to what? Cardiac arrest. Yes, sir.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
Can I contribute? I don't know how many of us have ever seen an old iron pipe cut when they cut it. Old iron pipe. You see that inside of it is blood with some whitish things. Rust. It's not only rust. Inside you find oil and other things. That's what happens to our arteries. You know, cholesterol and other things make them narrow so that blood is not flowing freely. Now, I think what you doctors measure is the pressure on the arteries as they are moving blood. And if the pressure is high, the blood pressure will be high. So that narrowing can result in blood not getting to your heart. Or if there is a clot also. I think in this room I have mentioned several times that because I've been diabetic for 27 years, that I've gone for certain tests. I've done what they call angiography, where they pump in some fluid into my blood and see the lining of my arteries into my heart. Okay? And they look at what is the percentage of blockage. In fact, it was interesting. The first year I went for it, which was maybe early in Graf, the first time I went, it was like about 10% blockage. 3 years after, when I used to be very serious with exercise, it was less than 10%. It had opened more because of exercise. Alright? So, but these days, if I go, I don't know what it will be because I'm not as every day exercise again like I used to be. Now, the essence of exercise is to unblock those things gradually, burn off. Alright? So, if we do nothing, the blood vessels will continue to have narrow space and blood will not flow straight to your heart easily. Now, okay, see them there. See. You see those whitish things? See the last one? Right?
No, yeah.
Go back.
This one there.
See, it's getting narrower. The first one is open, your blood is flowing free. See, the second one is coming up, is covering. Now see how the plaques have done to your. Okay? Now, you also asked a question that if somebody slump, what can you do to help? Oh, yes. Now you can slump if you're diabetic, if your blood sugar is low. Sister Uche will tell you that I slumped once. And she had to run out and grab somebody's coat. Okay? As a diabetic, if your blood sugar is low, just like your phone or your computer, once there's no charge, you will fall down. That's slump. You slump, and if you are mismanaged between that place and the hospital, you can die. I've slumped in public in Yaradua Center. But before I fell, I knew what I was doing. And I said, cook. And the sister had, and they rushed out, and nobody was selling coke in Yaradua Center. And they grabbed the person who was drinking one. And I was already on the ground. And they propped me up and poured the coke into my mouth. And after some minutes, sugar entered my body again, and I stood up, opened my eye like nothing happened to me. All right? Now, but if I slump because of another thing, okay, there are two instances. Now I slumped because my blood sugar was low. Somebody can slump because the blood sugar is too high. And if you add coke, you will kill the person right. So that is why it's good for people around you to know your blood history and your health history. Some people hide their health history, even from their wives. A man finds that he's not urinating very well. He's hiding it from madam, thinking that madam will think he has disease. But he's having symptoms of a prostate problem. All right? So, if somebody slumps around you, first thing you do, doctor will tell us. But what I do first is if I have a glucometer, I just check. And then I can apply sugar. But if I don't know what it is, I'll just try and do the first aid you will tell us.
No, okay. Sorry, I'm complaining. That's not what I want to address. In case of a cardiovascular event, what we do is CPR. I don't know if you understand. CPR, we use ABC method. The air, the breathing, the chest. The CPR. I don't know if anybody has gone for any program or training based on CPR. So that is what we do. The CPR is 15% effective. So the first thing you do is what call for help. No matter the call for help. I don't know if we have the ambulance number. What number is it? So the first thing you do is call for help. And you want to start a CPR. 2 breaths, 30 compressions. 30? Yes. You go 30 times. But you really need to be trained for you to do effective CPR. You really need to be trained for you to do effective CPR.
So maybe we should do the training here, huh?
Yes. Yes. Madam.
They are trying to forget what he asked. He said that they have facilities in their offices. That people are not making use of the facilities. That he wants to know why people are not coming to use the facility. And I want to profile one of the solutions because I was a civil servant before. People don't want the organization to know their medical history because of retirement. They can retire you involuntarily. See, if you are going every time to personnel department to ask for sick leave, that's why people don't ask for sick leave again. If you are asking, oh, I'm not well, I want to go for treatment, they are compiling it. The day they want to retire people involuntarily, they will just put your name and retire you. And so people don't want you, the organization to know. Even when you have clinic, they don't go to the clinic, they go other places. I work now, I know what they're doing.
Would it also be, I am thinking that the medical profession is not availing itself of proper scientific way of doing things because there are agreements in the systems that can be used when the patients come. If it's in those days when the Irish doctors were with us, when you come, they will take some vital organs from you. You see the doctor will look at your eyes, look at your ears, look at this, look at that. Then they use the stethoscope to check the state of your heart. Then before he asks you questions, like you say, maybe you pressure. You people don't check those things. And once the patient is there before you say, what is your problem? So the patient gets this feeling, and at times people have a feeling they cannot explain. Sometimes they'll say they just feel totally, some sort of breakdown in their system, but they don't know exactly what it is. Then you will send them for a routine test. But over the years, I have these opinions. I bought this one for analyzer, that tests for the tolerance. And I told to that whenever there is a general medical outreach, That is actually what most of those doctors use. So within a minute, you have gotten the total body situation of the patient, and you can view it on the computer, and it will give you full diagnosis of what that person is. So if you now ask the interrogating patient, are you having this feeling? Are you having this feeling? And quantum analyzer is also able to carry out tests like cholesterol and give you range. So, and when I was in service, I used to take up our doctors on it. Most of them say, yeah, they know this equipment and give them what they want. But the training they have did not allow them to use it. So I think there's a deficiency in that training. That is the issue. And then even when you go abroad to, like the GPs, you say, the GPs, before they can see people, takes a process. And sometimes you just send the test, and then you give them a call, they say, no, you don't have any issue. So, but when you use the quantum, all organs, even the things nobody can think, will be manifested. And I have used over the years, I have discussed the results with doctors, and they always agree that the results are okay, but they don't know what to do and why they can't use it. Like all these things you talk about going for tests. If you use quantum, you can get into that test, because I have gone for diagnosis tests over the years. And each time I discover that the quantum give me exactly the results of what the difference is that the diagnosis test might just test some results and some things, but the quantum test a total package. So I don't thank you.
Hello. Just to bridge your point, sir. We have machines, but machines are not human beings. They are programmed to do certain things. I mentioned something, psychosomatic disease. How can a machine detect a psychosomatic disease? How can a machine know your stress level? You have to discuss with me. I'll ask you about your work, what you do, do you take vacation, your leisure? A machine cannot do that. How many hours do you work in a day? So I can infer from all this and say, okay, maybe reduce your workload. A machine cannot do that. Some of the diseases that we have are due to stress. In fact, a lot of the diseases we have are due to stress. So we tend not to believe so much in machines, because humans are humans. You have to talk to somebody and understand that person from a human level. Machines are just programmed to do a particular thing. I don't know if you get me, sir.
I can add to that.
Yeah.
You know, and I run labs and I sell laboratory equipment for past 29 years. And I want to caution on some of these pre-programmed machines that do your health, complete health checks. Most of them are coming from China. They are not always accurate. That's why sometimes there are even lab results. You can go for a lab result sometimes, your lab result may not be accurate. There are some labs that don't even do the test. They look at you and give you a result.
Yes.
There are many labs in Abuja where they take your blood, you don't know what is behind it. You don't know what is behind the curtain. You don't know the last time they calibrated the machine. Okay? This man is an engineer. He services medical equipment. Where do you work now?
Federal Staff Hospital,
He's
Jabi.
a Dallas staff. We put him in the lab there. He's in Federal Staff lab. He goes to work there, but he's supposed to work in here. Why is he there? So that if a machine is working from time to time, he will check whether it is working accurately. Some machines are not being serviced by their owners, but they are giving results. There's no way to check those results that they are accurate. Because I'm in that industry, I don't believe every laboratory result I see. Laboratory results may be as a function of the reagent, it may be as a function of what? of the machine. It may be the state of mind of the person doing it. The way he took the blood sample, whether he's taking the right or the reagent correctly. You know, errors can come in that area. But the only unfortunate thing is like, you don't like politics, but the only way to be in power is through politics. They may not be correct, but that is the only way available now for doctors to know what to treat you, right? But I'm saying that some of those quantum results, and listen, we've had people who came here to do tests for us. That also, one woman who used those machines to tell you everything you're suffering from. You know, I look at some of those results sometimes and I just discarded them. I don't. That's if I believe they were very good for all of us, I would have bought one for you here. But I know that you need to interact with the doctor. There are some lab results they will present to doctors. Even we have arguments in our lab. There are some lab results they will give to the doctor. If the doctor was going by that result, that person should not be alive looking at him face to face.
Yeah.
So the thing is that a combination of lab results with the doctors will give you what is right. So my advice to you is just, I'm saying to my brother who said, don't depend on those machines for your medical things. Your interaction with the doctor, with your lab results, because there are some results that the doctor will say, go and run that test again. Amaka, you're a laboratory scientist. Those are the people who run lab tests, and she can tell you that sometimes the lab result can be repeated when the doctor suspects that this does not tally with the person I see. So in medicine, there's no straight line curve, okay? All right, because your emotions. How many of you have not had emotional problem that woke you up? Will machine know that you are woke up? So the thing is, we've got to take what is available. Now he said something. Abroad, a doctor on duty will not see 50 people in a day. But go to any of our hospitals. The queue, they're just saying and writing. So when they come and say, what is wrong with you? You tell them. And the problem I have realized that many of us have become internet doctors. We now go to doctor and say, including me, yours truly, doctor, I think I have. Not giving him the symptoms. You now tell the doctor, I think I have malaria. If you want to cut short the patient, you say, which type of malaria drug have you taken? Then he will give you the next one. Because you've told him what is wrong. But you've not told him the symptoms and what is happening to you. And the essence of a medical check, that time, that's the benefit. You are not sick. Now, you want the doctor now to check what is wrong. You are not going to tell the doctor, I need this. You just talk to the doctor and he will listen. And you know, when you are talking, doctors are writing. Is that not so? Yes. Good. They are writing what you are saying. Many of them write you verbatim, so that if anybody reads that case file, they will hear everything you said of yourself. They will ask you all the drugs, they write it there. You know, so I think that the issue of our health is so important. Yes, what Sister Uche has said, that some people don't go there. I may not be 100% the whole story. Some people are ignorant of what they need to do about their health. They are not knowledgeable that exercise can help them to become better. They are not knowledgeable that health, going to see a doctor will help them better. They just don't know. How many of us knew as much before we started Graf as we now know? It is because we are coming here to this environment. We are hearing and we are learning. So I think that the problem is ignorance, and you are playing a part in it. Because you are not telling people to go to where they will get help. You are not inviting people to come to a ministry like Graf. Why did God raise Graf up? It's because before Graf, like Dr. Onoha will tell you, he told me I needed a lifestyle change. How many people have you told they need a lifestyle change to start the discussion? The Christian gospel, we witness to people and they give their life. How many people have you, as a disciple of Graf, how many people have you talked to about lifestyle change that will help them to know and even desire to want to know? Thank you. Thank you.
You talk about the heritage. Yes. Like in our family, when we reach a certain age, diabetes will just come. Well, it started from our, just as you say, from father to this day. And that thing is happening in the family. And that is what is, in fact, I don't know how good. So how can we tell the junior now? Because already we all have it. I have my own age, 28 years. So, although our uncle who was ambassador that had it, he had it for 55 years. So he gave us lectures, how we should manage the diabetes, and we followed his way. So all of us, he said we should do exercise every day. 6 a.m. this man will come out, walk for 1 hour. He said not necessarily we run, not necessarily we jog, just take a walk. Walk for 1 hour and come back every day, and that is what is helping us. So all of us, we engage in this exercise, and now that they introduce this one, I do, when I'm around, I make sure that I'm here to do it. So my question now, these are our children that knows too much. Computer, because when you are telling them something, they will tell you what I do. And we don't want this thing to happen to them. So how can we go about it?
Yeah, let me answer. Like I said, it's a function of the interaction of what your genetic factors and the environment. The hereditary factors, we can't do anything about it. Your father is diabetic, your father is hypertensive, you're most likely going to be hypertensive. But what we can do are the factors we call the modifiable factors. That are the environmental factors, which includes lifestyle. So once you make those lifestyle changes, you will live normal. I don't know if you understand me. The chief here has been taking care of this very well, very, very well. Thank you.
Most of the reasons why some people refuse to go to check up with financial problems. Sometimes we go, I was with son. I went to National Hospital just for medical check. By the time they wrote down the list of the tests, whatever, it was much. I come to think of it, what for? I left. I'm serious. It was much, really much. I was a young man. I did so many things. I was asking this man, what's happening to me? I got a lot of money. I left. Now I want to ask, what are the basic things for you to just walk down and run those tests or check up and come back than somebody giving you a list of tests and whatever? So is there any basic things when you are strong as a young man, being healthy and fitted, you just feel, it has been a year, I'm not been to hospital. Let me just walk in there and check if there's anything. You understand? So what are the basic things?
Like I said, I don't know if you heard me when I said it is based on age, gender, I don't know if you remember, and the clinical situation. As a young man who has no problem, you just go, what we do is physical examination. We examine you, we take your BP, vital signs, and then we do your BMI, body mass index, your weight over height squared. I don't know if you heard about BMI. And based on these things, we will now look, okay, you are in a healthy situation, you're a young man, you're below 30, you're early 30s. There is no need for further testing. But a man who is above 45, 50, or in his 60s will do other tests, like the one Sal was just mentioning above. We do digital rectal examination because as men, this is our disease. There's nothing you can do about it. There is no fast track rules about it. As men, this is our disease. With time, the prostrate gland, I really need to explain further about this prostrate. With time, the prostrate gland enlarges. I don't know if you know what the prostrate gland is. Because of time constraint, I can't really go deep into all that. The prostrate gland enlarges and it puts pressure on your urination. So you start having urinary symptoms. Dribbling, you won't be able to urinate properly with time. So if we see a man that is in his 50s and he has come for a routine medical check, I will also include that in my checkup, like sir, we need to do a digital rectal examination for you. But as a young man, we don't expect that your prostate should be enlarged because it takes years for it to enlarge. What we do is we do the routine physical examination. You do a BMI, you do vital signs. If there are any one of them that is not regular or within normal, then we'll now go for what? Further testing. I don't know if you get me. But in cases of cardiovascular disease, if you come and say, people in my family have been having issues. In fact, this other uncle of mine died of a heart attack. This one died of. We will now do exams based on your cardiovascular system. Because like I said, hereditary is a factor. For like madam here, if her son goes tomorrow to the hospital, one of the things they will check is his or her blood sugar level. Because there is that disease in their family, diabetes mellitus. I don't know if you understand. So it is based on these factors. We look at, okay, you need to do this test, you need to do that test. We don't just come out and write, it's expensive. We're in an environment where you can't run all those tests. And we don't have these insurance packages that cover us. Some people have national health insurance scheme, but some people don't. So we try to, as much as possible, minimize some of these tests and make it suit your own situation. Thank you.
The general practitioner, like you said, that is the first point of call. The criteria for being a GP, is it universal? I'm saying, because in other places you see a GP as somebody that is experienced. You understand? Fairly old. But in my own hospital now, you will go and see some small boys. That are, they will come, the way they will even welcome you. You get, even though that you are really sick and you want medical attention, you just feel like going out. Sometimes I get angry with them. In fact, there was a day I went to the hospital and the queue was too long. So I went and complained. They said, okay, go to the next one. When I came to the next one, they said, boy, I knew. I thought it was from the school. And then I saw it. I said, no, I'll rather wait. Yes! Because I really just finished and all that. So you are going to see the practitioner that you expect somebody that will be experienced to talk with. And then, so what I honestly like the next time I go to the hospital, I'm telling myself, I want to go and see consultants immediately. Because you are going to see small boys. Like this kind of test he was saying, it's those boys. They will just write and all that. They don't know. You want somebody that is experienced, that will talk to you. I will say, okay, because of this science, you have to see another person. But most times they don't even allow you to see another person. I said, no, you have to start from it. I said, I want to get a higher, I'm more experienced person to talk to. So that's why I asked, is the criteria, is it universal? Because in other places, you see somebody that is somehow experienced. And I see babies.
Mine is not really a question, but then it's an appeal because I believe that there's a body where we can report the kind of rubbish we see in hospitals. I've had cares to go to the hospital twice and I didn't find it funny. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm always very skeptical about going to the hospital. Once I fell down, injured my shoulder. I got to the hospital. I was expecting the doctor to palpate my shoulder, check and stuff like that. I was telling her when I fell down and stuff like that, she has already written one full scan. After that, I was sent for X-ray. After the X-ray, the only thing I was told is that I should carry my hands in arm's length for the next 6 months. No physiotherapy, except maybe the drugs they gave me, no bags or something like that. That was how I now had to go home. When I went to the village, I had to do it locally. That's even how I can raise my hands now. Till now, I'm still having pain. So that's an issue we have in hospitals. When you go there, you see all these baby doctors. Before you say anything, 2 food starts with food. Then the next experience I had was 2 weeks ago. I went to the hospital. I was having fever. I told her I have headache and stuff like that. Then that please, I want to do a general checkup because once I start my vacation, I don't want to fall ill. After telling her everything, she recommended tests for the fever and all. The next thing this baby girl did was to write all the tests do and those patients requested for tests. And my HMO rejected it. In fact, when I came back, I felt like beating her up. Please, I don't know the body in charge, whether it's your association or whatever, but it's a very, very serious issue. I don't see any reason why you will come on your own and say you want to do a test and the person wouldn't know what to do. They expect you to, it scares a lot of people from going for checkups. Then on the issue of his office stuff, I think the best thing for their office is to put a policy that on certain days they close work early and for the next 1 hour everybody is expected to be out for exercises. The military, they do it. The paramilitaries, they do it. That's why you see them fit and fine all the time. So if an office or an organization has brought out itself its money, created a space to give you a longer life, I don't see why you shouldn't, make use of that facility. Thank you.
No more question.
Well, what can I say about my colleagues? Oh, I understand. But it's a system. Someone writing, you did this, you did that, patient requested, is due to medical legal issues. So in case something comes up, he or she will be like, you said you wanted the medical. I don't know if you understand. Yes, general, that's why I say you go to a GP. You go to a GP. There was one point I raised.
Flashback.
Go up.
Is it front, forward?
Up. That's the beginning.
Instead of that.
For a good partnership with the doctor so treatment can be more efficient. I think it is better that you get somebody, you get a doctor you're conversant with.
They don't allow that.
I know they don't allow that. I know. You can get a physician you're conversant with and form a relationship. I don't know if it's expensive to have family doctors. Is it really that expensive to have family doctors? Someone you can call. This is what is wrong with me, that's what is wrong with me. And a lot of people have that. A lot of people call me, this is so and so, and I'll be like, no, I can't do this over the phone. I need to see you. We need to talk. I need to do an examination. A lot of people call me like that. So you can form a relationship with somebody that you can always see. Sometimes people come to the hospital, I want to see your consultant, straight up. And you wait, and you see the consultant, no problem. So I don't know if that solves the problem. You can come and say, I want to see the consultant, straight up. And you go and see the consultant. They don't allow.
Consultant is
like that, I nearly died. So when I opened door, it's a young doctor. I don't know. So
Tell his colleagues what to do.
but they normally have me.
And the truth is that Nigeria is different. doctor, you are probably 30, 34, 35. Because of when we started school. Remember, first of all, you know this. If your hand doesn't reach that place, no school will admit you. So if you're unfortunately short, your hand will never reach. Secondly, we spent 6 years, 8 years in elementary school, 6 years in secondary school. So at that age plus the age you were. Now, what I'm saying is that we will continue to have younger and younger and younger doctors. You cannot say you will not see them. When a doctor is in training, it's different from when he has qualified, certified to practice. And they will practice. If you like, you open your door and you say you don't want to see them, you go and make your own doctor. See, we've got to face certain realities these days. Excuse me, one meeting. Face realities. These young doctors are your children. Is that not so? Yes. You train them to become young doctors. Yes. Not when they are qualified to practice. See, a doctor first graduates, okay? Then he will be asked, you go to do research.
Before you even write medical exams.
Once you've written your medical exams, then you go for internship. After internship, you go for youth service. You come back from youth service, you do residency. But while you are doing a residency, you're a GP.
No.
Okay, you do residency. And after residency, you are now qualified to practice anywhere. My daughter is a doctor. Okay, and if not that they wasted her time in Belgium when they were doing space to graduate, and so she spent 11 years. Because they take more than they can graduate any year, and you are allowed to graduate only 50 doctors. So if you are 300, they will divide the 300 people into 50-50. So you do an additional 6 years, and they are collecting school fees from you. But if that is not so, she would have probably qualified. An old woman was sick, and the son or the grandchild was a doctor. And she asked them to call a doctor. And they called the grandchild. He said, no, I don't want him. I want the real doctor. But the grandchild is a real doctor. And the Bible tells us not to despise the days of beginning. These young people, I want to tell you, may not have had the same training they had in the past. But these days, there's more knowledge with the younger people. If you'll appreciate that. So, don't disrespect them for their age. You'll just be hurting yourself. Unnecessarily. You go, and don't go to tell them what is wrong with you. Allow them feel their full scan. That's what I said before. When you are talking, the doctor is reading, is writing. Because somebody else will pick up, another doctor who was not there when he told you will pick up that note the next day you go. These days, we don't have this. If you go to a private hospital, you can decide which doctor you see. In fact, you can't even decide. It's the doctor of duty you see. Except if you have built what we call a personal relationship with a particular doctor. You take his number, he has your number. You can call him, I'm not feeling well, can I come? He will tell you when to come, when he will be on duty. Because if it's not on duty, you will see the doctor that is on duty. Right? Doctors are running shifts. Okay, so let me disabuse our mind from these young baby doctors. Many of them are good in their profession. They are knowledgeable, they know what they are doing. But remember, some of them cannot stand the pressure that older people can stand when they now have to see 150 people in a day. Go to any of these general hospitals, go to USIC, go to FMC. There are queues and queues of people wanting to see maybe 6 or 7 doctors of teaching. Right? So understand that. But what Graf is for is preventive. Yes. This is our preventive hospital. Hello? Yeah. Did you hear what I just said? Yes. This group is a preventive hospital to enable you overcome some of the things on your own. Yeah. I think somebody asked a question about the cost of labs. Cost of labs these days are not getting cheaper. Lab tests are very expensive. And I want to tell you also that in some hospitals, whether you ask for lab tests or not, they want to make money. They want to pay their staff. They will write as many lab tests. I have been recommended for several surgeries. Okay? I've been recommended for many surgeries. I have gone out and looked at the gravity of the surgery. I've been asked to do tonsillitis because I had sore throat and my tonsil dropped and all that. And they looked and they say that they can see it. I said, okay. At my age, I'm selected. I did not do the tonsillitis and I'm still here. The other day I told you I had what they call acid reflux. Is that not so? Sometimes when I someone from America, I come and mention it here. Why am I mentioning it? So that you can learn. Alright? And acid reflux was happening because there's something that locks the food into your stomach. Alright? So your food doesn't come to your mouth again after you chewed it. But that thing can get weak and the acid will start coming back to your throat and the food. Alright? And I was told to go. I mean, this is last month or last 2 months. I mentioned it here. And the doctor said I should come for a test, a surgery. And the surgery is 1.2 million. Okay? Wait. That's not because I have money. It's because what the doctor is saying is also true. But what I'm feeling is also true. Okay? And what they were going to do was to do laser surgery. To burn that thing so that it will expand to stop the food coming up again. And people are doing the test and people are doing the treatment. But I weighed myself. First, I've been told what to do. One, to raise the head of my pillow, head of my bed, so that I'm a little bit inclined upwards and food will not easily come down. I've been told that. 2, I've been told to lie on my left, okay, facing your left hand side when you sleep. And I've been told to take some tablets that will reduce the acidity of the food in my stomach. And I started doing those. I was feeling well, so I didn't go to surgery. But there are some hospitals to go. They will recommend surgery for everything because they also want to make money. So it's a graceful balance of the treatment you take. But let me tell you, whether you like it or not, the medical profession is our only savior in the area of certain chronic diseases. Okay? The things you can fake, you will fake as a Christian. But you need to do your exercises and let it profit you the little that you need. You don't have to come here to do your exercises. The joy of our fellowshipping together in exercise, makes it a lot more healing. Alright? Because it says a merry heart is like what? Medicine. You notice when we exercise together, it's not the same when you exercise alone. Is that not so? Here it's more merriment, and we're happier doing it together, and we do things that touch every part of our body. Unlike if you do it. Not people who go to gym only go to gym to run and to lift weight. They don't do some of the things you and I do. Alright? So I want to say that your medical check is important for you. Go to your doctor, tell the doctor how you feel. The doctor is right to say you requested for the test to be done. Because you asked for the test. And your insurance does not cover it. Most health insurance don't cover every test. They cover certain tests, and you've got to know which ones they cover. So if you can't ask for anything outside there, they will put it there for you, because if they don't do that test for you, you will not feel happy. And you will not. Look, there are people who have gone, who love injections. And whatever they have, except they've had injection, they will never feel they are healed. And some doctors have injected ordinary water into them, and they go home rejoicing that it is working very well. Because that's where their mind is, to get healed. Alright, so let's be careful. All we have said this morning in summary is that 1, you need to do your regular tests. I've discouraged the use of machines and believing machines because they may not be as accurate as some of the lab results, but you cannot do without laboratory results. Doctors can never treat you without the laboratory results because they need to see what's happening in your blood or kidney or the part of the body for which they have asked for test. Okay? And they need to see it well in advance to help you prevent getting sick so that you can address it early enough. That's the essence of medical checks. When you are not sick, you go and check. And he has told us there are certain tests that are for men. There are ones for women. Past men, breastfeeding your breast on your own. Okay? Is one. I was watching a video yesterday. I don't know how many of you have that video. How women should check their breast up to from here, from this point, and then all just like this. You go down, you go down, you go down like this. You go down. Your nipple, your I was just watching the video. The man made the woman remove her dress and then started showing women how to. I don't know if it's on the Graf chart. I saw it or somewhere, but many of you don't even look at the Graf charts. Things posted there. So these things are necessary for us to know how to live, and every one of them is very, very important. The doctor is important, whether he's young or old. Some of them studied abroad, some studied here, under different, but they practice in the same environment. But once you tell the doctor, this is what I want, he will do what you want, because psychologically, if gives you otherwise, you will go home feeling that he has not attended to your needs. So I want to encourage us. Let's play our part like the minister told us. He laid certain principles. 1, the right with God. Is that not so? Yeah. Sin brings sickness. Alright? 2, he told us bodily exercise profits. Alright? Okay? 3, he told us a merry heart is what? It's like medicine. Issues you have with your wife and or friends or people around you can affect you. If you are frightened, your blood pressure will go pew. If you're unhappy and there's somebody you're living in the house that's upsetting you, you know that everywhere you will be squeezed, and that will affect your blood and your system. So we need to learn some of these things. He has told us a lot of things. We cannot send him to his colleagues. He doesn't control them. He's not enemy. Even if he tells them, they will not listen to him. So the important thing is, he has told us the key things. Form a good partnership with the doctor so treatment can be more efficient. And what I do, I ask some doctors, I just call them up. This is the way I feel. See, we have a doctor who is Graf doctor, Dr. Noah. By now everybody should have his number. He's at Barimba. Okay? By By now, all of us should have his number to call him and discuss. He will tell you. He will tell you from the spiritual point. He will tell you from the medical point what to do, and that's what he does. That's how Graf was formed. I went to him when I was bad, 9 years ago, and he said, well, you've done everything, but you need a lifestyle change. I said, which one is that again? Those people in the ministry don't know that they need a lifestyle change. And people will continue to die and slump because they don't know. One man that someone got introduced to me because he was diabetic in Ministry of Women Affairs. I saw him the other day. I didn't recognize him. He said, the one you told to stop eating big meals and can eat small portions. Said, and he told me about sugar and all that. He said, one big man, one rich man slumped here the other day. And, everybody was shouting. And I went and gave him Coke. And he drank the Coke and stood up. So everybody was now looking at him as a consultant. That is only by chance. Because that man's blood sugar was low. And when he gave the man Coke, he stood up. That's by chance. Okay? Know your medical history. Tell people around you, your symptoms. I was reading the other day, normally, I lock my bedroom. But I was reading the other day on the social media, older persons should not lock their bedrooms when they are sleeping. Because it has occurred to me once, as if anything happens to me. I like to sleep, like I sleep in my house here, my go-to way, I sleep alone. I sleep in my houses alone, and I lock up. When I wasn't feeling well, I gave one of my staff, because my staff, the radio staff, they live in the same compound, but I live in my own flat, they live in there. I gave one of them the key. I said in the night, check on me, because I wasn't feeling well. So you've got to find a way to survive, let people around you know, and then go and find out what is wrong with you. The fact that you are very strong doesn't mean you are very well. Because health is a combination of factors. The World Health definition of health says it is physical, it is social, mental. The only thing they didn't add is spiritual. And we all added spiritual to it. So please, health is very important. You are only a human being if you are alive. Once you are dead or you are incapacitated, my staff called me from Calabar the other day. He said, my father died. I said, what is wrong? He said, he's hypertensive. So I said, so what happened? He said, his blood pressure went up very, very high. And the doctor gave him medicine and asked him, and then it became higher and higher. And the man had a stroke and went into coma, and 2 days later he died. Okay? For me, I'm not telling you, there are things I do when my blood pressure has gone up. I take my blood pressure medicine, I take the sedative and Panadol, and I try to force myself to sleep and rest. Something that will make my mind relax. Thank you. Let's give the doctor a clap.
Please, alongside medical checks, there is also need for you to do dental checks. Dental. We don't do it at all in Nigeria at all. Some of the diseases come from here. In fact, the microbes here is more than the one you're in. Yes. So it is also necessary for us to do dental checks. Go and clean your teeth. We do that every 6 months outside the country. When I came to Nigeria, I haven't done it for like 3, 4, 5 years. So we do that. It's also necessary for you to do dental checks. And also sometimes eye too is also necessary. You go and check your eye from time to time. And I don't know if we really have psychologists and psychiatrists We have psychiatrists, but I've not really seen a lot of psychologists. But because some of these problems, like I said, we can go for sessions, discuss some of these problems. You say? Oh, okay, on the phone. We can go for sessions, discuss some of these problems. Like I said, some of these problems are psychosomatic. Nothing, there is no drug we will give to you that will work. There is nothing that we will do for you that will work. But some of these sessions you go with the psychologists and psychiatrists can help, can also just limit some of these illnesses. Thank you. Thank you.